There. Sorry. Sorry, I think my sound was tipped off. I accidentally hit it. So I apologize for that. So now you can hear me just fine. So hi everybody again. I'm sorry. Think maybe we got a good signal now. I'm not sure. I have no idea. Maybe Xfinity was working in the area. I have no idea, but I have a redundant system and it's still I lost 3 times. This is this is the last time. If we lose again, guys, I'm going to call it a day because I just can't keep bringing the live up over and over again and having you guys chase me all over the place. So this will be it. It's pretty. This is really pretty wood. I have no idea what it is. I'm doing a tenon, which I never like to do this kind of tenon, but I'm going to have to try and do that. And okay, I'm just going to have to shape this out just a little bit. Get right there with it. Oh. Got to bring that out to the end. And let's see what we can do. And the way you do that, just so you know, if you didn't see how I do it in slow motion here, but you want to get this right here, that bevel, right up against the back side, and you just walk it up like that, and that cleans all that right off. Okay, just use the bevel, use the wood basically as your guide. Use that bevel and just ride the bevel up, and that'll take a lot of that out. Now I'm gonna have to do a little bit of cleanup work here. Let's see if I can. I'm probably gonna have to use my scraper for this. I've got a bull nose scraper, which would be perfect for this kind of cleanup work. Okay. You only catch the rough spots. It doesn't take off much. It's just finding little imperfections and smoothing them out. See there? Nice. Now there's a little bit of end grain stuff going on because there was beetles in here. That's just what it is. You know, the wood is what the wood is. You can't change that. Okay. So hopefully you can all hear me now, right? You know, I didn't see anything else about everybody else saying that you couldn't. So I'm going to assume that you can hear me now. Yep. And if you can, please hit that like button or subscribe. That'd even be better. We really appreciate that. That helps the channel a lot. We're trying to get our subscriptions up over 5,000, and we're getting really close. So if you can help with that, that would be great. Okay, I'm going to just do a little quick sanding. I'm not going to do a lot of sanding here. Just want to get these sides smoothed out a little bit. It's already shining. And you can see, I don't know if you can see very well, but you can see all the bug runs through here. The bugs cannot get into the wood. All they can do is get under the bark. It shows you something about the hardness of the wood. Right, so we're just giving this a little cleanup sanding here. Clean that up a little bit. Clean the edges up just a little bit so they're not going to hurt anybody. Right there, and right there. Let's see if we can. Gotta be really careful there because of the gap. You could really get your sander stuck. Hit. All right. Take a little bit off the bottom there. Smooth that out just a little bit. Bring it on. There we are. Get that bottom nice and flattened. Okay, and I'll do a little polishing here. And we'll be ready to go on and try and go on the inside. I got to find that screw that got broken in there. That's going to be a fun project. But we will find it. Oh, let's turn it backwards there. There we go. Reverse spinning on there. Helps a little bit too. Yeah, this wood is hard and thing. Doesn't even hardly need anything to do that. Okay. Alrighty. And just for fun, I'm not going to put any finish on right now. I just want to see what getting that dark does. I'm just using what was already on the towel or on this towel just to kind of let you see or see if we can see anything that's going to be an issue. I don't see anything that's going to be an issue. That looks pretty nice. That's kind of the color of a pine or an oak or something, but I'll tell you, I have no idea what this is. If anybody does, go ahead and chime in here. Let me know. By the way, can somebody say they can hear me? That'd be great. Just put it in the comment section. Yes, I can hear you, or something like that. That would be great. Because I had that little button there. I pushed it, and now it seems to should be on. So, sometimes your fat fingers kind of hit things. But please let me know if you can hear me. Okay, I appreciate that. Yes, great. Okay, good. Thanks. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Larry, and everyone. Thank you. Thank you much. Okay, so we're going to take this and take this off. Cross our fingers a lot. Cross our fingers a hell of a lot. Okay, because this is going to be an issue. This is very, very small. But sometimes I like to turn small things just to show that you can turn small things. That one comes off. That one comes out. That one comes out. Okay. We got those three out, and there's the screw that didn't come out. And there's a couple ways you can go about trying to get that out. None of them are fun. Okay, I'm going to say that right now. None of them are fun. But I'm going to see if I can't coax it out a little bit. It's not very long. I'm going to drill in on either side of it. There you go. And here. And over here. Now, generally, I use stainless steel screws. I did not for this one because I wanted some really short screws and they didn't have any available. That's my little fault there. And I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get this knocked out of here or not. Like I said, this wood is so darn hard. I might have to like turn to get near it and then go from there. Ooh, bent my probe. Okay. Well, that won't do it. Well, we will go a different direction and I'll just chance chipping my tools a little bit to do it. But I don't want you guys to sit here for an hour watching me trying to extract a screw. So good, that fits right on there. That's good. It's going to hold. I'll leave that on there. That should hold. We will see. Okay, that thing is right there. I can see it. I just can't. Don't know if I can drill under it enough to get to it. Yeah, we'll just have to work it out a little bit. Just be really careful in the process. Okay, so that's really not the way you want to come. You want to come at this kind of from the back side. And up the wing like this. You want to be really careful. Okay. That knock, 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 I think, is where the nut, the screw is. Right in there. Right there. And there it shows its ugly little head. See if I can dig the wood around it a little bit. You know, guys, I'm sorry to say this, but I think I'm going to have to use a little chisel and get in there because I don't want to. I don't want to ruin a $150 tool. But there it is. So we're going to try and chisel that out real quick. I hope you'll bear with me. I've got some pretty sharp chisels here. I'm not going to put it in a vise because I want you to be able to watch. This wood is very hard. I'm trying to create a little hole around it. And if I can get underneath it, there we go. At least we can see it now. Okay. And this is a good lesson for everybody, you know. We try and, that's why these are lives. We don't want to hide things. We don't want to edit out the problems that people have sometimes when they're turning. This is one of the things that happens sometimes when you're using a faceplate. Is occasionally even a good screw can go bad. And this is when good screws go bad right here. Okay. We'll get in there. Try and get some needle nose maybe, if we can. I picked these up at an estate sale one time. And they've been really handy. I think he did some metal work and he used these for when he was doing metal work. I think that's what they come from. But they're really good for getting down in there sometimes. Yeah, just can't get in there yet. Okay, well, again, I'm going to apologize to you guys that are in here watching a turning. Now you're watching a screw extraction. But as I said, this is alive. This is what happens sometimes. Just happens, you know. I'm sorry it's not something flying off the machine or something. I know that's more entertaining. A lot of people go, "Oh wow, I really like to see it when you get stuff flying off your lathe," and it's like, well, yeah, I don't because it's flying at me. But please do hit the like button, though, if you would. I know this is probably not one that you like more than most, but please hit the like button. Or if you haven't before, subscribe. I promise most of our lives and most of our videos are a lot more fun than this one is. This one's kind of a working video this time. Boy, that just really doesn't want to grab out of there. Man. Okay, well, it can't be very deep. I know that for a fact. Because I'm hitting wood when I do that. Actually, I'm removing more wood using the drill bit than I was with the chisel. Okay, that should help. That should help a bit now. Now let's see what we can do. If this was like pine or some other softer wood, this would be out of here in seconds. But because it is this very hard wood, which I can't identify. I mean, this is a sharp tool, and it's not getting in there. Try that angle. Now I've exposed more of it. Maybe I can get a better grip on it now. It is really holding on. It does not want to let go of that little bitty drill, of that little bitty screw. So we can try. I'll try another bit. This is smaller, more to the point. It is just digging in and holding on to that thing for dear life. And you can bet if I'd have wanted the screw to hold on, probably would have come right out. Ah, it's loosening now a little bit. It moved anyway. It wiggled to one side. It is wiggling. It is wiggling. It is coming. Yes. Yes, I think we have success. Huzzah! That little thing was holding on in there. Amazing. There's maybe 3 threads was holding on to that wood. But that gives you an idea of how strong the wood is. Okay, let's get back to this. Thank you for indulging me while I took that out, because I just didn't want to bang up my blade for that. There we go. Clean that out a little bit. It's going to take very small turns. That's dull again. Man, I feel like I'm turning a rock. I feel like I'm turning a rock here. And that's Iraq, not Iraq. Okay, but I feel like I'm turning a very solid piece of wood, and I think it's going to be a real pretty little vase or something when I'm done. But doggone, it's going to eat up my tools to do it. And I've got its twin right over here too. I have the twin right here. We learn on one and then we turn the other one, and see, that's better. This might be an inside out turn. Go from the inside every time and turn out. At least for now. It's still getting get past those drill holes where I had to break out that screw. Let's just kind of look and see where that's coming out. Okay, so I'm like right here. Can't go out any further because I have this drop off on each side. So that's why I'm getting the clatter, because I'm outside the screw holes, but I'm out as far as I can go. I don't want to go out any further than that. You can see how little it takes off at a time. Yeah, are we getting underneath that curve? They're just starting to get underneath here now. We'll start having a solid wall all the way around here in just a minute. But I cannot hardly go in. Just for the fun of it. Now that I've got this shaped and everything, I'm going to switch over to carbide, just to see if we get a better scrape out of that. A little steadier, and I might be able to come up the walls a little bit better. Yeah, it seems to work a little bit better. So, like I said the other day with Jim from Soldier Farms, is that sometimes there's use for carbides and there's use for both. So, oh hey Wilson, thank you very much. Yes, I appreciate that. Yes, do hit that like button. We got 100 people in here, so hit the like button and subscribe if you can. We're turning at about 900 right now. But if there's any more, and it would heat it up. The reason I'm not going higher is because I think 900 alone is heating. It will heat this up. In fact, this is pretty warm. So yeah, we got about an inch to go down. I don't want to press too hard. And one of the things I want to check here is I want to make sure that my tenon is nice and tight still. Yeah. In this particular case, we had to use an actual tenon. Very rare for me. You got to see it here first. Let's see how that came out. Trying to clear this off just a little bit. There we go. Yeah, we'll take some of that off with the sanding. I'm not going to keep that bark much. You can see where all the bugs were. The bugs were underneath the bark. And if you want to, you can see better on this one. Bugs were turning all in here, but not in the wood so much. They just can't get into that wood. It's just way too hard. So because this is somewhat free form, I'm not quite tied into the same bowl features I would be otherwise. I'm going to have to turn this a little bit. Hitting that right there. Trying to use this curve as best I can for the most effect. There we go. Don't like to be extended. You always want your extension to be less than an inch out, because once you get past an inch, you get a lot too much vibration. I could use the flat one that I have. But this is not a flat bottom. This is a solid wooden one. This is a Sorby, a Robert Sorby, made out of solid metal with the tip on the end. So it's really hefty and strong. Doesn't move. Yeah, we're getting little ribbons now. Look at that, we achieved ribbon hood. So that's starting to look. You're right about here, so I can go. The funny thing is, I put 10 on here. I can go all the way down near the bottom of the stock here, so we'll get as much as we can out of this piece. If you recall, we had a branch piece on the bottom, and I want to make sure we don't run into that on here too. So we got to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves on both ends here. See how my edges are. I see I got a little bit of rim here I need to adjust because I won't be able to sand that out. Because I'm getting too extended over, I'm getting more than an inch out from this, and it's starting to get that rubbing and chattering that I was talking about. Now, the problem is I can't come out further here, dropping this wall down more. So this would end up being it's a little bit cockeyed in that sense. So I got to be kind of careful how I do that. I don't want to take this wall out in the process. It's pretty thin as it is. So I am about here. I'll go down a little further. I don't know if any of you saw the movie Hail Mary yet. I went to see it yesterday. It's a good movie. It really is. I liked the book better. I think it explains a lot more, and I like Andy Weir's writing style. So to me, I enjoyed the book more than the movie, but the movie is good, and it's doing quite well in the theaters. So if you have a chance to go see it, you may want to. If you're not into science fiction, that's okay. There's a lot of science fact in it also. Andy Weir does a lot of well, he's the one who did The Martian. If you remember The Martian from a few years back, he does a lot of research into scientific study when he's researching his books. And obviously, it's fictional and speculation. I don't want to ruin the story for you, but as a first contact kind of movie, it is really, really, really much better than most of the first contact movies I've ever seen. And that's not really the basis of the movie. The basis of the movie is more about cooperation and other things. I think if you get a chance to see it, you should. I think your kids would like it. Not a lot of cussing or anything in it. It's just a good movie. So it is a little bit violent in at the beginning, but nothing that I don't think most of you could handle. I shouldn't say violent. It's not violence like you're fighting monsters violent, okay? So has some good music in it too, actually. Ryan Gosling does a real good performance. And I'm not getting paid for this, so this is not a paid advertisement or anything. If they want to run the commercial for the movie, they can. I don't care. Okay, there we go. I think we've gone about as deep as we want to go there. Let's see. We are probably, well, you know what? I'm going to go just a hair, just to kind of cut it out. It's always a mistake, I know, but I'd rather do it now while it's on the lathe than try and do it afterwards. Okay. From there, I think I can sand that out. It's a lot of work for a little bitty turning. But I think it's coming along. We're getting the wing out of it. And you know, I probably won't get more than $5 for this if I put it up for sale. That's kind of the sad part of this. You can spend an hour or more working on it. Someone offer you $5. Maybe 10 if I make it look pretty enough. Put this on the side here a little bit. I'm going to leave this rugged like this because I think it shows kind of the character of the piece to begin with. This one here. I think this is where I get out my special sanders, my brush sander. Use this. That just kind of softens everything, makes it feel nicer to the touch. Okay. Got battery knife. Fortunately, I got another battery right here. My trusty Harbor Freight $20 drill battery and a flashlight. I just want to get it so it feels nice and soft on the outer edges. Okay, like that. Okay. Back on the other side, trusty drill. This one has a little bit more power to it. Okay. Now we'll go a little bit better. just want to get that as nice and smooth as I can looking, because that's the only chance you get. Okay, here we are. All right. This will be just 1 second here, just to give me a final 240 on it. Ooh. Kind of polishing it off a little bit. It's going to be a very rough-looking piece on purpose, actually. So, okay, we got the sanding done. Let's put a little finish on this. We'll call it good. I think we're just going to use a little Howard's on this, a little weed, a little. I always say weed and feed, a little feed and wax. What we want on here. You can tell I've been working out in the yard this week. I keep saying weed and feed. I don't know about your area, but our area is already fully bloomed out. All the fruit trees are already setting the fruit. Cherries, apples, peaches. I've already got baby peaches and grapes. Of course, we're in one of the breadbasket of the world over here in Central California. So we do have a lot of fruit, and it makes it feeds the world, really. It really does. Everything from nuts, pistachios, almonds, walnuts, olives. If you've heard of Lindsay olives or Olivetti olives, among others, Oberdi olives. They're all from here. Sun-made raisins. Their office is right down the street from me here. Plus millions and millions of pounds of citrus and peaches and other items. So we really are the breadbasket. Let's see here. We got hi, June's House of Crafts. Nice to see you in here. I didn't see you earlier. I'm sorry, I didn't say hi. And Pedro and is that Irene? I'm going to say Irene. I'm not sure if that's what it is, but Irene, hello to you also. Okay. No. Wipe this off a little bit now. So you can see kind of the difference between the before and after, so to speak. I'll show you this one. This is what it looked like before. Okay. And this is what it looks like now. Nice little bowl. You put your change in, or not that we have change anymore. Everybody uses cards, but you can put your cards in there if you want. But it has really pretty lines here. Kind of bring it closer to the camera so you can see the grain. Okay. So that's one. So here's the question: what do we do with the second one? Do we try and do the same thing? Or we do something different. Now this one had a crack right here, but it doesn't look like it goes down in. This one had a crack on the top. So what do you think we should do with this one? I'll wait your comments. Interesting. This was actually paint. This was paint that was on here. When he painted with some sort of an oil or oil base, it looks like paint to preserve it. You can see it right here, very thick. I don't think it's latex. Maybe it is, but he painted with real thick paint, and the paint doesn't even come off after all that sanding and all that work. Still a little bit of that paint on there. So do you think I should do another one like this, or do you think I should do something a little bit different? I'll leave it to you guys to decide what you want me to do. If you don't write anything, I'm just going to stand here. I'll be my own circle of death. Yeah, we don't want to mess. We don't want to joke about that right now. We've had a good run for the last hour or so. What do you think? No comments? Okay, well, I'm just going to turn this and see what I can do with it. We'll see what comes of this one. They're in, but some of these screws are not even in very far because of the slope off of the wood. I'm going to have to see what we can accomplish here. A little bit longer on this side. Okay. All right, well, we'll start with the obligatory turning of the edge. Just going to look at this for a minute and see what it looks like when I'm done turning. And we are just about even. Just a little bit more. Okay. We are just about touching on both ends now. Just about. all the way here, and we're not quite hitting here yet. So gotta get a little bit closer. Okay. I think we are gonna have to tighten those screws a little bit. Oh, it's about time to change that too. Yeah. These are our little rubber seals. If you don't know about this, I'll show you right now. I gotta turn this off too. I'll show you what this is right now. Having a little a rubber seal there, or a neoprene, or whatever kind of disc you prefer, is really helpful in keeping your from your metal from basically sealing against the metal here. And I found these on Amazon for, I think it was like $7 for a dozen, and it's much cheaper than getting the. I'm gonna have to order some more soon. These last me about a month or two at least, and you know I do a lot of turning. Just putting that on there keeps it from sealing. Eventually, it'll wear off like that. I saw it kind of wearing off earlier. And that just helps keep this from sticking onto the metal, basically. What it's for. But you can pick them up, like I said, on Amazon, real cheap. And yeah, I noticed a couple of these screws were getting a little bit loose. Now this time I'm going to back them out slowly and then reset them. Boy, that one doesn't want to work very good. Take those out. Oh, that one disappeared entirely. That's interesting. That one removed itself from the gene pool, so to speak. So we'll have to install a new screw there. Maybe I'll use a longer one. See if I can do that. Come on. Helps if they cooperate. If they don't cooperate, it's really hard to do. That one's not cooperating, so we'll replace it with something that will. Oh, I think I know why it's that head shank on it. Yeah. That's what's keeping it from going. Okay. Yep. That won't go either. And I'm hitting something right there. Doesn't want to go in. Okay, brand new screw. Same old hole. There we go. Not holding much, but it's holding. Okay. It's just the awkward drop off of that wood. That's what it is, more than anything. Okay. This changing of all the batteries at one time today seems to be an occupation of mine. Okay. I got this helmet. Got my tools. There we go. Okay, we have cleaned off both sides. They are now equal. Okay. And the second step is, how do we get it this way, right? Well, we got to get the bottom clean too. So let's kind of work from the outside in, or the inside out, I should say. Let's see how this one looks. Got to come in a lot more here. Well, I'm going to clean this off too. Okay, see how we're doing. Oh, we got this nice hole here. That's interesting. Well, we're going to have to eliminate that. So I was wondering what I was banging up against there, so it always pays to look. Okay, check this off. Yep, they're all right. Okay. Uh, let's see. Some days are like that. If I fuck. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you, Jim. I'm sorry I didn't see you earlier. And let's go. Yeah, it would be nice to get to 100 likes. I'd appreciate that. Um, that's all. And get it squared enough for the chuck. Well, I just did it on the other one. So what we're going to do is we're going to flatten this off here. We're going to make. I think I'm going to make the same. Yeah, Chuck. I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. I don't normally do an outside tenon. I usually do an interior tenon, but I think because of what you said there's not a lot of wood to work with. I'm going to do an outside tenon. So let me get this kind of squared here. And I'll use this to get things flattened out. Oops. There we go. Oh, wrong one. Helps to get the right tool. There we go. The biggest problem we have with this wood is that it's really, really hard. It does not like to be turned. There. Now we got it flat. Now the next step is to get this turned in. We'll use this skew. Here it is. I'm trying to skew this down. A little bit tight there, so I'm going to go just a little bit deeper. want a little bit of a dovetail. You want to create a little bit of a dovetail so this has something to grab onto. And I got a crack right here. You're going to have to deal with that too. But I've got a little bit of room. I can take some of that off and still attach this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work this down just a little bit. I'm going to use, if I can find the right skew, I'll use it. I have a left-handed skew and a right-handed skew. Oh, I got to get these marked someday. There we go. This is my right turn screw. Okay. Let's see what we got here. I think I got pretty round there. I think I can get that to hold. That's going to be my worry, this crack right here. So I'm going to make sure that the teeth are coming in like this to do that. I'll clean that up just a hair. Man, that is hard wood. Make sure I have a really good sharp shoulder. Nice clean shoulder. You want to have that clean shoulder when you do it. That way you'll have a good hold. Okay. We got that. Okay. Now, hey, Jim, stick around for just a minute. I'm going to show you what you may have missed earlier. Because I had trouble getting my video started today. It cut off a couple times. And it had nothing to do with me. It had to do with the server that the service I'm using was attached to. They had me attached to San Francisco, and apparently that was lowering the bit rate. So I switched it to the Los Angeles one, and after a couple times, it hooked back up fine. And the system I use is supposed to have a latency feature, which means that if you lose your signal at all on your internet, it automatically switches over to using your cell, and it's supposed to be seamless. But you could see it was spiking. I mean, it was really spiking, like I was losing complete control. Okay. Smooth this out now. Now this one's winged a little bit differently than the other one. I got to take a little bit of that out of there. I'm going to use a different scraper. I need that to clean out good. Just so you know, my scrapers have different angles to them. This is a sharper angle than this one. You can see the two different ones. They have different angles. This one's much narrower. This is probably more like about an 8 to 12, somewhere in there. This is more like about a 25 degree. So that's the difference between them. So this one's going to be a little more aggressive at 25 degrees, but I kind of need that right now. Give me a little bit more sweep and a little bit more definition there. Let's see how it looks. Oh, I see that's much smoother. That's much smoother. Yeah, that comes out much better all the way around. And we'll do is do a little sanding on it, and that'll be just fine. That's how you have to use your tools to get the shape that you want. Put some back where they belong. Oops. Boy, I got a lot of sawdust on the floor for two small projects. And Jim, I'm going to show you what you missed earlier here. I need a little tiny break anyway. And smooth that out now before we get too far ahead of ourselves. This one's got a little more bark on it than the other one did. I don't know if it'll stay. One of the problems with these wing bowls is you really can't, you have to sand it this way. You can't sand it by using a sanding system because it just won't, or by rotating it because it just won't work. Okay. I want to make sure my dust collection system is working. I'll get this one on too for the moment. And I'll turn it back off here in a second. We're trying to get to 100 likes, so if you can help us get to that 100 likes, that would be great. We really appreciate it. Very, very hard work. It's a little bit like, it looks a little like almond, but I don't think it's almond wood. It looks pretty good. got that hairline crack there too. I got to really watch that. So let's see. Really quick slow down here for a second just to catch up. See, negative rake scraper. Negative rake scraper. Well, there's several different kinds. Here's one. Generally, it has a edge on both sides. Okay, this happens to be a negative rate skew in a sense. Here's one that I made. Sorry, didn't mean to do that to you. But here's what I made. And basically, this has about a 25-degree here and about a 40-degree here. You want about a 60-degree angle on it. And what you can do is you can scrape it out like so, and then draw across like this, and you're ready to go again. And that should be just enough of an edge. You can feed just a little bit of a burr there, not much. And that's really good for doing the bottom of a bowl, for instance. That's one of the reasons you use a negative rake scraper. It takes a lot of skill. I think a negative rake scraper is actually harder to use than a skew. This is another negative rake scraper, and this has an arch to it. Just like some skews are straight and some skews have an arch to them. This one has an arc to it. And as you can see, it's got a narrow angle here and then a stronger angle here. This is a pretty thick piece of metal. So there's lots of different ways to set up the skew. Everyone has their own angles that they like. It happens to be the ones that I've used. Okay. Hey, Mark. Yeah, Michael, you're good at asking stupid questions. No, Michael, you can ask a stupid question anytime you like. And I don't think it'll be stupid. It'll probably be the same question a lot of people have. They just are afraid to ask. But while you're coming up with that question, and this is mostly for Jim, but Jim, oops. So this is my ukulele. Okay. And this is one I made, and I had to fashion a lot of it. I did the inlay, the work, and yes, I can play, but I don't care to play much right now. But this is how mine came out. It takes a lot of the same skills that you learn in doing other woodworking. It takes to do an ukulele. Okay, that's the one thing I said earlier. And then I had one that was a complete mess. This, I'm going to show you the backside first, so you understand. This was completely damaged. There was damage to the back. This was off. This was actually missing. The bridge was missing. All I had was the neck and the body, sort of. I had to repair the body. I had to reattach the body. I had to build a brand new bridge for it. And then I had to figure out what the springs were for. This one is really weird. This is called, and I had to do a lot of research, this is called an American tipple. Never heard of it. You probably never have either. It is 2 strings, 3 strings, 3 strings, 2 strings. So 10 strings, 2, 3, 3, 2. The tuning, and I don't have it tuned right now, but the tuning is very unusual. It does have sort of a mandolin sound. It's a little twangy right now because I didn't have it tightened either, but it has kind of a mandolin sound to it. A lot of gearing. These are old style gears too, but I wanted to keep it as much original as I could. This was probably not a real high quality instrument. I mean, it was okay. I mean, the work inside shows me that they knew what they were doing, and they were building a pretty nice piece, but not perfect. It does have a support across the arch here on the inside. So, I mean, it was an interesting piece, but this was a real work of learning how to build something that was broken. And so I learned a lot off of this. And I actually found a chord book for the American tipple. I have not played much. I've learned a few chords on it, which I promptly forgot. And then I'll show this one here. This is my telly. This is my African mahogany telly with the 4-leaf clover inset. I built this whole thing from a baby. I mean, I got the wood. I developed this. I put a little belly carve in the back with my grinder. I drilled out the holes for all the electronics, which was not easy because you have to drill that way to get the wire from this pickup to this pickup down here, and then over into the control boxes over here. So, and everything is underneath these two pieces. I did some extra wiring in here too to add a little condenser to the tones, so you have a little bit more range. And did my own setup up here for the strings. I had to carve out the bone on this, and it has a very low action. It plays beautifully. Getting all the frets aligned perfectly and avoiding any sprouting was really a hard part of this. But it does allow you to use very slinky strings to play, and I love the back. You can see the lighting on the back here. Catch that? This is really nice. It is a bolt-on neck. It does have an adjuster brace in here. You go in through here, and you have the adjuster brace inside. So that part of the neck was done, but I had to actually restyle the neck for my hand. It's much more of a C. I have a really big palm with short fingers, so I have to kind of adjust it to my use. Okay, and that way I could play this. But I do like the song, and it plays really well. It's one of my 10 favorite guitars that I have because I have way too many of them. But so I thought I'd just show you that yes, I have made a few instruments, and this is kind of my baby right here. So I'll catch on the comments in a second. I just want to set this back down over here away from some of the dirt and dust. There we go. You know, I'll catch up with your comments. Oh. Okay, so what's it say? Yeah, by the way, I did like 10 coats of stain, rubbed in stain on that, and about 12 coats of finish on that whole thing. So yeah, it was quite a labor of love, so to speak. Get your focus back down here on the wood instead of looking at me, but let me see here. Let's see. What was too complicated? I got to go back up and look. Something about. I'm sorry. If I missed it, basically my question was, how do I change the angle of my new skew, the same as the one Dave got recently? Oh, the one Dave got recently. Yeah, I saw that. Sharpening on the jig. Well, basically, you're going to have to go off. You're going to have to go off the jig first. You're going to have to avoid the jig. You should have two wheels. One is a more coarse wheel. Okay, if you let me kind of show you over here if I can. There's my system. I'll show you. And this is my coarse wheel. Okay, and this one I use for shaping. So if I'm going to change the angle, let's take this gouge here for an instance. Let's suppose that I didn't want to have this angle here, and I want to change these. I have to go here first. I'm going to change this angle approach. Then I'm going to rough it out I'm going to rough it back and forth by doing a turning like this, just kind of back and forth until it's roughly into shape. Then I'll bring it over here to do the final turning using my jig and so forth, because you're going to need to take some steel off. You're going to need this harder or this rougher grit to take some of that steel off. Now, with a skew, let's just take this skew as an example. Hopefully I'm in the picture. This skew, now if I wanted to change that angle a little bit, I mean, I could come here and I can raise it up and I can change the angle. I can put this on here, which will give me an exact angle. Okay. These don't cost much. Just zero it out and then bring it up to the angle you want. These are like $15 or so on Amazon. They got a magnet on the bottom of them. They're great. And you can set that angle. And then what you want to do is you want to keep this in place with your thumb, run it back and forth, dip it in water a few times, bring it back out, do it again, back and forth. And you're doing this case, I'm doing an arc. I'm not doing a straight across piece. This would be an arc. Okay. What you don't want to do is you don't want to make a hollow curve. So you want to kind of keep that up there. Now you can take this over to the other one and do some final finishing on it. But that's really how you change your angle. I mean, if I wanted more of an arch on here, I'd have to arch it out a little bit more. This one actually has a double angle. It has an angle here and then it has a base angle there, because I changed this one slightly. So I don't know if that answers your question. You have a real coarse stone. Well, you don't want to over coarse it. I mean, you want like this is a 320, I think. And this is a 180, a 360, something like that. You know, I use the CBN wheels, the diamond encrusted wheels, because they will never go out of round. They're always going to be the same size. I never will have to change those, and they're going to last me a lifetime. Now, are they expensive? Yes. Are they a lower speed turning? Yes. You want to make sure you're using a little. I've got a big delta over here, which I can adjust. It has a rheostat for adjusting the speed, and I use that sometimes when I'm first setting up a tool. Like when I was making this one, I started over there because I was carving this out of basically just steel, and so I wanted to set it up first. So I got it on my regular grinders. Then I took it over there to do the final grinding. So in that case, that was a little bit different. So I don't know if that answers your questions or not, but I thought it would help some. Now I could learn on, yeah, well, yeah, yeah. I have a CBN good, which is 180, but the other one I have is just a standard 60 grit. Okay, so you're going from 60 to 180. That's still fine. That's still perfectly fine. You don't have to go to a 300. I mean, you're not polishing the metal. You're just trying to sharpen the metal. That's just the two that I chose. When you're using M2 cryo, it does take a little bit. That does take a little bit of work, but this is M2 cryo. I have been using it now for 2-3 years, right? It is getting shorter, okay, because these were the same length at one time. Guess which one I use more of? Okay, I use this because these all were the same size. So I've lost at least an inch or so off of this one, but that's after a year of turning and sharpening, every other day or every day in some cases, or sometimes twice a day. I'm like on this wood, I might have to sharpen it a couple times because it's so hard. So to lose an inch over the course of a year, that's not bad. Okay. 60 is a stone wheel, that's fine. That's for shaping. You want to use a shaping stone, and then you want to use your sharpening stone, right? That's the two things you got. Okay, so we got this in shape. I don't think I need to put the oil on it right now. We'll do that afterwards. There we go. Wow. Really on there. Okay. So we're going to, just to make sure this fits good. Yeah, it does. Okay. Just double checking myself. You know, I'm going to put just a, not that it needs it, not that it necessarily needs it, but I'm just going to put a little touch of CA glue on here, if I can. Just because I'm kind of an extra safety kind of person. And I know how hard this wood is going to be in turning and how much banging it's going to take. I'd rather have this a little bit of protection, so to speak. I can always sand that down later. Give it some strength for now is what I'm looking for. Okay. Okay, there's that. I'll give it just a little shot here. Hopefully that doesn't get in the way of the setting this up. Okay. All right. Let me get this screws off of here. This faceplate. One good one. Boy, it wasn't even hardly in. Here. Okay, you got all four out of there. Good. All right. We'll put this on. And where this is here, I'm going to put that right in the middle of this so that it's not pressing it apart, it's pressing it in, if anything. Okay, and I can see I've got that little bit of a taper going, which is what I wanted. Let's see how this goes. Okay, like so, like so. Okay, and I think that's going to hold it. We will hope so. We will hope so. Okay, got that on. Let me get my mask back on and we can get moving again. All right. Please hit that like button. I'd like to get up to 100 if we can on the likes. And do subscribe if you can. Or even better, if you want to be a member, you can certainly be a member here too. I have memberships for a whole 99 cents. It's as low as they'll let me go. If I could do a 50-cent membership, I'd do a 50-cent one, but they don't let me go that low. But you can certainly sign up for the 99-cent membership if you would, and if you want, if you can afford to, and are so inclined. There's no requirement. It does help the channel. So I can afford to go out and buy another one of these, among other things. Okay, so right now we're just trying to Get this wing cleaned out. And I know I'm dealing with bark in here, so that's why I'm kind of being careful of. Okay. I have to lower this down just a little bit. There we go. Different tools, you have different thicknesses, so they've got different settings on the tool rest. It's a weird turning because you kind of have to go from the inside out. Let's see how that's going. See here? They're not even making any indentation hardly at this point. Let's set it at an angle here. Trying to make a little bit of a wall here. Okay, so there we are. We've established a little bit of a wall. That'll make it a lot easier now. Alright. Sorry, I'm being kind of quiet there. I'm kind of thinking there a little bit. So now we'll go back to the carbide. See if it's a little more unsuccessful here. Now we got the edge attached. Okay, so let's take a look. Got to clean this up here, but we are now below the ridge here and on this side. So we're now centered, and we have our and yeah, that's looking better. Okay, I'm going to come all the way out here. All the time you're thinking about turning in here, you're also wanting to think about how can you keep this smooth so you're not having to sand that out later. Okay, so if we can keep driving that down just a little bit. I'm wondering if I should maybe move this a little bit. Present a little bit different part of the blade to the wood. See if that doesn't work a little better. Oh, not much different. Here, hey Radar, how you doing? Good to see you in here. You know, on the screen it looks like I'm going really slow, but I'm not. I'm actually at about 800 RPM right now. A little bit over. I guess it's that frames per second thing. You know? Makes it look a little odd. Boy, that is just, I can't get over how hard that wood is. It just does not want to, it tears off. It's got a pretty straight grain, but it does not cut well. Which is good. I mean, You want a nice hard wood. That's why I was thinking this might be almond. Since the person who owned the wood did not mark it, I'm only speculating. I'm just kind of guessing what it could be. There were a lot of almond orchards over by where he lives, so that would make some sense. It's not fruit wood, I know that. Fruit wood has a much different characteristic to it. Like you turn peach or apple, or any number of fruit woods that we have around here. For one thing, they're not white like maple. I mean, this is kind of like maple. It's like a hard maple, but I don't think it's maple wood either. So, unless it was a decorative maple of some sort, it could have been a decorative maple, but we wouldn't have. Normally, maple trees don't grow around here. Japanese maples do. So I wish I could give you a better answer, Radar, but I really don't have a good answer for you. The guy who had this passed away. His wife donated it to our local turning group. And he did not mark what he had. I mean, he painted the ends of it and everything to make sure it wouldn't crack. And he obviously had it a long time because this is pretty dry wood, from what I can tell. It doesn't have a distinctive smell, like say a juniper or a cypress or an olive or something like that would have. So it's not one of those woods. You got me curious now. Just want to see. Yeah, this is 6.9, 7.0, 7.9, 6.7, 6.8. So it's right in that range of just high sixes, low sevens. It is dry wood. That's ambient moisture in the air right now, humidity in the air right now. So it's acclimated to the environment around it at this point. So this is going to have kind of an interesting thing to it when you go to finish it. Other than sanding it and putting like a single coat or maybe two coats, it is not going to, because it's such a hard wood, it will not absorb a lot of the moisture from the finish. So it is not going to be a real. It's not going to be a real, like a lot of dry woods will just suck it up like almost like it was beech wood or something, but it's not going to do that. I'm just wondering if we can kind of tone down that wing just a little bit. See what that looks like. Yeah, I brought that out to the edge there just a little bit more. Just trying to give it a little bit more slope to it. I may work on the back side of this just a little bit too before we're done, just to kind of angle that out a little bit more. We'll see. Come out a little bit there. I'll be very careful about it, but I want to come out. Otherwise, we start becoming a. We got a little loose. Okay. That's what I was afraid of. I didn't want to have it come too loose. Okay, good. Always checking your tin and make sure that you are being holding it properly and you're not cracking anything as we go. Okay. You can't put a little too much pressure on it, and then what happens is you lose the whole bowl. See how deep I am right now? Right about here. I can go a little bit deeper. This is going to be a much more shallow, but a little more wide out bowl than the other one was. Everyone has their own style that they like, so. sure I'm keeping a nice smooth ridge going down there. Okay. Gotta keep doing that. Anybody else got questions in here, please feel free to. And please hit the like button. Or please subscribe if you can. That'd be appreciated too. So we do some small projects today. We've been doing big bowls recently, so I thought, let's show what we can do. This was just a small branch. In fact, this branch was only, what, about this big around. So maybe 3.5 inches across, about like that. And we've turned, this is the second bowl we're turning out of it. So just because a branch is small doesn't mean you can't do something with it. You just have to kind of think out of the box a little bit. I'll bet when you're out for a nice walk, you probably walk by branches like this all the time. And you don't think of them as prospective turning pieces. But they are. I mean, look what we've done with these little pieces. And they're going to come out, I hope, really nice. And you can combine them with other projects. Like my wife sometimes will make me a little gnome or something to go with these. Or you can put do a mushroom. Sometimes my wife will decoupage a picture in the bottom of these, and they look really attractive that way. I mean, you do a lot of different things with them. You can use this as looking at the starting point and turn something else out of it, or add it to something else you've turned. Like if you turn a mushroom, and then if you either turn the mushroom. Hey, I'm back. Whew. That circle of death was there for a second. I'm not sure why, but what I was showing is that different scrapers and carbides are basically the same. This is basically just a flat surface with a scraping edge, just like the scraper is. Okay, so you can use both. Somebody asked about the negative rate scraper, and you can use this to clean out the bottom of the bowl a little bit. And it's just going to get anything that's not highlighted or not straight enough. This one is going to get in there and get that curve, the scraper. And you see it does a lot of the same things that the carbide was doing. Except this one is set up to really smooth. It's not as aggressive. So it's just smoothing the surface. That's all that's doing. Okay? And that's really what we need to do with this one. Now all we need to do is sand it out a little bit. So we are going to sand it. I'm going to put this, excuse my sound here, but I got to do this. You done? See you later. Sorry, radar. We lost you. Hi Wayne, by the way. I didn't see you in there, but hello Wayne. Hope you're still with us. You get those to look about the same. You want to have ridges on there if you can avoid it. Okay, that works good. Now we'll just go cleaning it up a little bit, and we'll finish on this, and we'll be done. I'm going to sand this down a little bit, make it nice and soft to the touch. It's amazing what sanding will do for sealing of your product. You put a good sanding on it. I'm going to give it a little bit of this here. Okay, that helps. Okay, final little bit of sanding on here, and then we'll be done. Okay, there we go. Nice. Okay, we'll give a little, put some finish on this, and call it done. So let's put some finish. Yeah, I'm gonna get the brush just to put that in there a little bit better. And this is going to be a nice little piece. It's nothing fancy. It's actually a lot more work than it's kind of worth in some ways, if you think about it. These were quite a lot of work for these two pieces. But it's a fun project. It doesn't take long to do, not too long to do. And, you learn from it, right? You learn, always learn. A nice little rub. Just a nice rub. Going to have sort of a satin finish to it. Wood feels really good. Okay. We'll loosen that off. And we'll take this one out, and we'll put this one next to it. Here's the two pieces we did. This one was obviously narrower. I went a little bit deeper, a little bit narrower. This one I went a little bit wider, a little rounder. As you can see, they're basically the same size. Love the grain on it. I'll bring that up here. You can see the grain. So there's two different versions from the same little piece of wood. I think they came out pretty nice, considering, and like I said, they are really hard. You can see the shine on this. That's because it's really hard wood and it just really polishes up well. So I think we'll have we'll put these out. Probably get $5 for them. You know, who knows? The idea was just to try and do a couple different turns from the same branch. Okay. So what do you think? Hey, Merrick. So what do you guys think? Is that was that a pretty good turn or not? Or you think I should have done something different with it? Let me know. Your opinions matter here, so please feel free to write something in the comment section. There's like 42 of you in here now, or something like that. So if you have any comments about it, please, or please hit the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe if you haven't. I could really use the trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, so that would really be appreciated a lot. Let me put a little bit of rub on this one too, since we are comparing. There we go. This one I need to do the bottom still. So this is the one where we had the crack. We had to use a little bit of CA glue to keep that holding well, but it did good. The tenon did good. I think I'm going to leave the tenons on just to give them a little bit of height. I'm not going to take them off. I'm just going to sand them really nice on the bottom so that they look good. I'm not going to bother to try and take that off. It's a pretty small tenon at this point. I don't think it's worth the effort for a small piece like this to do that. Others may have a different opinion, but that's my opinion on this one. So, guys, what do you think? I'm going to go ahead and call it. It's been about 3.5 hours here. Much longer than I expected. I apologize for some of the problems we've had with the cutoffs today. It's no fault of mine. It's no fault of the equipment that I'm using. It has to do with Xfinity, as far as I can tell, but I'm going to be going up to Xfinity later and finding out just what they think the problem is. But at any rate, here's what I got. And as you can see, the tenon was much smaller on this one than it is on this one. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with these two little bowls. Okay, well, I appreciate you all being in here. Again, hit the like button if you would. We do these every Thursday. We're here for 2 or 3 hours every Thursday. Plus, we usually do 1 or 2 others during the week. We got lots to turn, so we'll be doing a lot of other things. We'll be doing something a little bigger next time. This was our day for doing small things, and it really came out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. So we'll talk to you all soon. Thank you all for being in here. Again, hit the like button if you would. Subscribe if you can. We got up to 83 likes, which is really great. I appreciate that a lot. And we'll talk to you all real soon. Thank you.